To Georgia.
I took a walk through this beautiful world. Felt the cool rain on my shoulder. Found something good in this beautiful world. I felt the rain getting colder. Sha-la-la-la-la, sha-la-la-la-la-la, sha-la-la-la-la, sha-la-la-la-la-la.
Georgia is probably a place you don't know much about. Few Americans, I suspect, could place it on a map. It's small compared to the superpowers around it, but vital. Its significance far exceeding its relative size. For nearly 70 years, it was a Soviet republic, and since independence in 1991, Georgia has been on a wild and often deeply troubled ride as it struggles to attain and maintain democracy. There has been a civil war, regional strife, and numerous provocations and invasions by Russia. Geopolitically, it's located in a hotspot, a strategic crossroads surrounded by Russia, Turkey, Armenia, oil-producing Azerbaijan, and just a short distance away, Syria and Iran. I wanted very much to see Georgia. But in November of 2015, I was having a very tough time getting there. The hard realities of a television production schedule required me to be in Georgia's shiny new version of Vegas on the Sea, Batumi. But here I was, stuck in Istanbul. Hurricane-like weather conditions grounded my flight on the other side of the sea. It's an unforgiving medium, television. And a first principle is that 1 minute you're on top of the world, next minute replaced by a younger, prettier face. Somebody hungrier, with fire in their belly.
Live from Batumi.
I knew just such a person. Someone who'd been hungering for my job for ages.
Peter Piper picked a pack of pickled peppers.
I'm talking about Samir, of course. Only a short flight away in Moscow and ready at the drop of a hat to jump on a plane and be my eyes and ears in Batumi. I may have misrepresented things a little bit. I may have promised him a recurring role in the show. But I needed somebody on the ground, and I needed him quickly.
This is CNN.
When the producers of the American television program Parts Unknown telephoned me and explained that I wouldn't have to pay for anything I took from the minibar, I was confident this was the break I was waiting for. Maybe this was the glorious future for me in cable news.
You go a little bit to your right, Samir. Right, a little more.
But just when my plan for becoming next Wolf Blitzer are about to come true, Tony arrives, smashing my hopes on the reef of television broken dreams.
Please feel at home, you know. It's like, it's Georgia now, it could be another state, right?
Well, how did you get here? Via what route?
Luckily, there is a direct flight twice a week, though, from Moscow to Batumi.
2.5 hours, that's all?
Yeah, just...
Oh. All right, what are we drinking, Samir? This is the important question.
Do you feel like you're ready for some tropical feel?
I don't
Because I
do
have some
that.
surprise of cha-cha. It's like moonshine.
Okay, I'll try that because apparently
try it.
I'm going to be
Sip.
drinking a lot of it while I'm in Georgia. This is, I understand.
It's a part of local hospitality, but it's over 40 degrees, like alcohol proof. Welcome to Georgia. Hope it'll be an interesting trip for you. A lot of things
Thank
to
you.
learn.
If we were to go to a casino tonight, for instance,
What do you think?
what is your game of choice? Poker?
Yes, maybe. Or
Blackjack?
roulette, yeah. Blackjack,
Roulette?
maybe. Yeah, roulette would be
Craps?
probably- Yeah, that's quick.
Baccarat?
Like that.
James Bond played Baccarat.
Not that good at that, but let's see what they have.
Not much going on in Batumi off-season, as it turns out. The casinos are still going, for the benefit mostly of Turkish dudes hopping across the border from their country where such vices are frowned upon.
17, 9, 14, too many. 16, 19, blackjack, stand-up.
Brutal. Tough day at the office.
Anybody?
There's that great philosopher, Wesley Snipes, what he said. Always bet on black. Going all in, Samir.
Okay.
Come on back. Come on back. Yes.
It's a good start, Tony.
Let it ride.
Run, rabbit, run.
Ouch.
Shit. Should be some nightlife. I mean, the losers deserve some relief, right?
Yeah, nothing like a loser at a nightclub. And I emanate loser.
No, it should
So
be.
let's go.
Let's go, yeah.
Unsurprisingly, Zamir and I suck at gambling with a force equivalent to 1,000 suns. I should have just pulled my pants down and handed over my money the second we walked in the door. But actually, that came later. I'm mesmerized by this bowl of electronic snakes. Ooh, they're changing colors. Either that or I have a brain hemorrhage.
No, change the colors.
Everything's fine.
The arena.
Rocky?
Rocky? Da, Rocky.
Too rocky.
Tony, maybe it's time to think of New Year resolutions once we have inspiring moment. Tony, this is an interesting moment of my life. I'm trying to get something going on and knowing your creativity, new opportunities, and this kind of...
But are you welcome in Turkey?
Yeah.
Batumi in daytime is a strange-looking place. Not exactly forlorn off-season, just odd. A mix of what are obviously big dreams and current realities. What is going on here? They're building everywhere. Commercial and residential properties rising up out of the ground every few yards. It goes on and on. I meet up with Zabir at Sazandari, one of the city's older, more traditional joints.
Tony, how are you feeling?
Like something crawled inside my head, defecated, and then died.
Listen, I think we're getting old.
Kidding? Though you're looking very svelte, I have to say. I'm impressed.
You must be kidding me.
You look good up on that pole.
Well, listen, if we are on the blacklist again, I think that's the end of my career, but, you know.
It was a brief but magnificent pole dancing career, I can tell you. You went out in a flame of glory.
I wasn't prepared that they're so Puritan kind of, you know, country, and that people are kind of, you know, I thought they had some sense of humor, but...
Hair of the dog. Yeah. Yeah, well, so we're eating, what's, ashi?
Traditionally, you know, Georgia is the man's world. I mean, men drink, eat, party, and the women normally do know how to make people healthy and alive next morning after heavy drinking. So, hashi, it's kind of broth, and it's made of beef, bones, and joints. So the whole idea is just suck out whatever alcohol still remains.
So it's hangover soup.
It's hangover soup.
Okay.
Oy, oy, oy.
Oh, yeah, there's tripe in there.
Yeah, a lot of joints.
I don't know, this is not the first thing I think of for a hangover, actually.
Oh, really?
Maybe this will help.
It goes well with garlic. Did you try garlic?
Yeah, I just dumped a whole bunch of garlic in there.
You think it's marketable in the States as a real hangover dish? I think there should be a lot of clientele.
No.
No, not really?
The hashi is not really working for me, but I absolutely love the chashashuli, a stew of slow-cooked veal with onion and tomato, heavily seasoned with coriander, fennel, garlic, and chilies. Spicy. I mean, it's really, like, it's got some good zing in there.
Yeah. Feeling better?
I am.
Good.
So, has the club called offering you a job?
Not yet. I think it's very tough competition on that front. To Georgia, Sakartvelo, it's local toast.
As grateful as I am for him stepping in my time of need, it's time for Zamir to head back off to Moscow. I ain't no fool. The man clearly wants my job. Tbilisi, in the eastern part of the country, is Georgia's capital city, and it's very different in every respect from Batumi's off-season amusement park vibe. It's an old city, founded in the 5th century, but also a very new city. 1.2 million people building their own world, freshly emerged from some very, very dark times. It's a pretty incredible story. Strong, rock-solid Orthodox Christian tradition, a whole hell of a lot of years under the Soviet boot, years of totally Wild West gangsterism, endemic corruption. Now it's a very different story. Tbilisi is changing fast. So I don't know what it says about a place that since I've arrived in this country, I've been in literally a constant state of, I'm either drinking or hungover.
Yeah, yeah.
Or both.
Yeah, yeah.
Is that normal?
That's normal. Yeah, especially for visitors.
They're friendly here.
But it's a friendly kidnapping, you know?
Well, I've read accounts of people who actually were kidnapped in this country who...
Yeah, it happened once with UN monitors. They disappeared.
They came back like 10 pounds heavier and hungover.
They found them in a cabin up in the mountains partying. They had bumped into a wedding party and were there for 2 days.
So how long have you lived here?
About 12 years, 12, 13 years.
So you've been hungover for 12 years?
Yeah, yeah, pretty much.
Paul Rimple is an American-born journalist, and he's seen it all. He takes me to Tbilisi's old city to eat at the Gabriadze Cafe. When you first arrived, who was running things back then?
Edward Shevardnadze.
Ah, so the bad old days.
Yes, and it's a real mixed legacy because the nation was still functioning as an outlaw ex-Soviet, nation. And then Saakashvili just kind of emerged.
Right.
And the Rose Revolution happened and, everything changed.
The country has run through a number of heads of state since the end of Soviet rule. First was former Minister of Foreign Affairs to the Soviet Union, Edward Shevardnadze, who was ousted in 2003. But to get a handle on Georgia today, you must understand the importance of one man, Mikhail Saakashvili. After Shevardnadze, he was elected president in 2004 and began to change everything. Misha, as everybody knew him, transformed the country. And by making friends in the West, in Europe and the US, he gained a lot of attention, both good and bad. In 2013, though, he was ousted by the Georgia Dream Party, who are still in power today.
Most Americans watching this show will have a hard time even locating Georgia on a map.
Yeah.
What do you think people need to know about this country?
Two things in Georgia that are untouchable. The church, don't mess with the church, and don't mess with Georgian food.
Don't mess with Georgian food.
Yeah.
Don't mess with the church. Okay, I get it.
Mm-hmm.
But to the food, why?
Because it's tradition. Don't mess with tradition.
I'm quickly finding that the cuisine here is really good, really complex, with sweet sour notes that are reminiscent of, I don't know. I just know it feels hauntingly familiar yet utterly new and delicious. Salad with orange, almonds, and honey. Grilled lamb ribs with pomegranate sauce. Slices of fried eggplant wrapped around a walnut filling. And shik maruli, chicken slow baked in an oven and then simmered in garlic and milk.
That's good.
And Georgians will tell you there's no alcoholics in Georgia. No alcoholics.
Right? Do you believe that?
Absolutely not.
How do I get out of drinking? How do I avoid chugging chacha?
Say you have a heart condition.
A heart condition.
Yeah.
Nothing short of that will help.
No.
Jeez.
There it is, perched on a hilltop overlooking the capital like the lair of Ernst Stavro Blofeld, the Bond arch-villain. Helipad? Check. Private zoo? Check. A big shimmering glass box owned by Georgia's richest man, Bidzina Ivanishvili, known variously as the good oligarch and as the mysterious guiding hand behind, well, everything. Seldom seen in public, Ivanishvili, after making billions in Russia, went into politics in his homeland, creating the Georgia Dream Party, and ultimately becoming prime minister in 2012. Not everybody is on board, however.
Დიახ, აქცია დასრულდა სულ რამდენიმე წუთის წინ. აქციის მონაწილეების კონკრეტული მოთხოვნა იყო ის, რომ საქართველოს ხელისუფლებამ უნდა რუსული გაზი არის ძვირი, რუსული გაზი არის არასტაბილური, გაზპრომი არის პუტინის შანტაჟის იარაღი.
Known as the Angry Bird, Tamara Shagolishvili and her pro-Western, decidedly anti-Russian Defend Liberty coalition are in vocal opposition. Recently, a move by the ruling party to sign a deal with Russia's Gazprom for all Georgia's oil needs has caused dissension. We meet at Sofia Melnikova's, a much-loved bistro for the most loved, perhaps most iconic Georgian dish, khinkali.
I understand that Georgia is not Tbilisi, but looking around Tbilisi, compared to 2008, life looks good. There's money in the streets, shiny new cars.
No, well, the thing is that, yes, things have changed. After the collapse of the Soviet Union, Georgia was the country that suffered the most among the former Soviet republics economically. I mean, economy totally collapsed. Corruption, became, just a normal way of living.
Truly a pretty miraculous transformation, unlike any place.
It happened because people wanted it. I mean, and there was this demand. That's why revolution took place.
Oh man, look at that.
Yeah.
Wow, that looks sensational.
Yeah.
Big, fat, juicy soup dumplings filled with spicy, cumin-jacked minced beef in hot, rich, potentially scalding broth.
You have never tried that?
I have never. No, I'm new to this country.
According to traditions,
yes,
you're eating it with fingers.
Okay.
I mean, that's the whole thing.
So, wow, these are terrific.
I mean, this is not something very sophisticated to eat.
Who cares? This is a very religious country. People identify themselves closely with Christianity, family-based.
Exactly.
And there seems to be a point beyond which the population will not go. And to come around to Comrade Putin, he seems to understand this very, very well.
The way Putin operates is that, like, first, Putin emanates strength. I mean, he's a bad guy. I mean, there is a consensus. Like,
Right.
80% of Georgians believe that Putin is a very bad guy and Russia is a threat.
Right. But he's on the winning side.
Yeah, exactly. So he's a winner. So they don't judge winners. Then they say, okay, we're bad, but West is worse. I mean,
But are they wrong?
Of course they are wrong.
Wherever you find a traditional religious conservative society, you find a countervailing force. Georgians, as a rule, are passionate about tradition, about the way things are supposed to be done. But that doesn't mean there aren't rebels here. People pushing hard against the status quo. Daring creative souls like Chef Takuna Gachecheladze. At Culinarium, she's taking to extremes the notion that Georgian food is in fact a fusion of all the past influences of the many forces who've made their way and forced their way through the tiny country. She's focused on the next generation.
Something that was said to me early on, what I need to know about Georgians. Don't speak badly of religion and don't mess with the food.
For me, without innovation, tradition will die. Because we can't eat the same dishes what we used to eat in the beginning of the century, because then the people did go for the hunt for 2 weeks.
Right.
And now we're sitting in front of computer and we can't take so much fat. It needs some lighter version of it. And I'm trying to modernize Georgian cooking. So I think you're hungry, so now we have to cook. This is the queen's soup with the caramelized onions and then the svanuri salt.
Really good.
It's very good for hangover.
Oh, good, that's good, because I have a hangover.
Eat some more soup.
Like this all day.
And then we're gonna drink cha-cha and you don't gonna have a hangover at all.
On my way to a new one.
This is Georgia, you know, you have a hangover, you're
day.
curing yourself every day, and then next day you still have a hangover, and then you're curing
Oh my
yourself.
God. I mean, I'm an amateur.
I think we have to do the one shot. It's gonna help you, and it's gonna help me.
Why not?
Why? And some wild trout tartare.
That's delicious. So when you first started departing from the classics, what was the reaction from people?
What do you think? It was big, like controversial. Even my grandmother, she's like, when I try this new thing, so she, why you have to do this? And this is the very popular dish, chakapuli. And then from love of chakapuli, I'm trying to make people eat mussels, because the mussel is not very popular.
Beautiful mussels, too.
Yeah, we have very good mussels. So we need now one more shot. So.
Are there some Georgian dishes that should never change?
I always feeling very strongly to preserving original dishes. It's good to have this original version,
Right.
but I'm giving the other option to do something new. In my vision, it's always to have a choice.
Look, it's a beautiful city. The countryside is fantastic. The people are nice, and the food is really extraordinary. Really, really, really something special.
It is.
The drinking, however, is a problem.
Drinking.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Tbilisi is one thing. An increasingly modern city, smart cafes, boutique hotels, shops, galleries, the inevitable spoor of hipsters. But outside the city, it's not so different than it always was. Agrarian, traditional, things done the way they've always been done, the way it's believed they should be done, until you reach the bizarro world along the border. Only 90 kilometers northwest from Tbilisi, in villages like this one, Kurvaleti, where tiny Georgia's predicament comes clearly and brutally into focus. Over there, the Russian-controlled breakaway region, formerly Georgian, of South Ossetia. The Russians took it in a 5-day war in 2008. It's Russia now. This side of the wire is, at this precise moment anyway, Georgia. But who knows? The border has been known to inch forward unpredictably, often in the dead of night, to the point that families have gone to sleep in Georgia and woken to find themselves living in Russia, swallowed up overnight. Before 2008, Kurvaleti was home to more than 60 families. Today, just 9 families are left hanging on.
So that cow is in South Ossetia, both of them. There was a story, actually, on that an old lady basically woke up and her cow appeared to be on the other side of the fence because they did it during the night.
Right.
And so she would walk up every morning and would milk her through the fence to get her milk. It can be that bad, yeah.
Journalist and fixer Dima Bitsuleman covered the war here 7 years ago and continues to report from the region.
So, like, that house...
They had the misfortune to go to sleep in Georgia and wake up in Russia.
Exactly. But look at this. You see this? This is where the Russians sit. And that is the base, probably communication base. So they're probably now watching us. And the sign says, attention, state border. So that's something that appeared recently.
Thoughtfully in English.
The main problem to me is that we're like a couple of kilometers away from the highway. Moving this border and blocking this highway would stop all the activity in the country, basically. So right now, the Caspian oil and gas go through Georgia, and that's the only route.
Right.
Except Russia, I mean, bypassing Russia.
There's an implied threat, you know?
That's the main
You're saying,
thing.
if I can do this, I can certainly go all the way right down to the highway, at which point...
Basically, there's a pipeline just here.
So this is really a hand around your throat.
Absolutely. Every day. That's why every 50 meters, or even meter, which may be not that important for the whole country, like short-term economic point of view, it doesn't matter, right? But in terms of political threat, every meter is another step towards a catastrophe.
We're here for a supra at the home of Ushangi and Makvala Kokashvili. A supra is like a feast, super traditional. A pig is dispatched and broken into constituent parts. The neighbors pitch in, helping to make 3 different varieties of a traditional cheese-filled bread known as khachapuri, variously stuffed here with potato, beet leaves, and stewed cabbage.
And there's one thing that we always do in Georgia, we eat fresh herbs, always. And this is homemade wine.
There is, I gather, a very formal structure to these toasts.
Quite. For the first few toasts, at least, 7-ish, I would say.
Well, you sort of lose the plot after 7, I think.
No, no, 7 is not a lot.
Here's how a typical supra works. It's more formal than it looks. Custom must be observed. Certain rituals performed. Proceedings are led by the tamara, or toastmaster, often the head of the house, the big cheese, the dude, but always the guy with the best rhetorical skills and the guy best able to stay sober while all around him are, well, not. Because there's a lot of drinking in a supra. It's required. In this case, our hosts have called upon Igor, their next-door neighbor. After each toast, your glass of wine, or cha-cha, God forbid, must, and I mean must, be drained completely and refilled to the rim. You're toasting some pretty heartfelt, serious shit here, so hang in there and show some respect. Which is tough, because the drink receptacles can grow larger as the toasts progress. To like this horn, for instance, which is used because you can't, even if you wanted to, put it down anything less than empty, because it'll like pour all over the table. So drink up. Then there's a mug, and so on.
To Georgia.
Then it's time for the food. Roast stuffed goose.
Wow, look at that.
And shashlik, grilled kebabs of pork with a sour plum sauce. There's also korma, a slow-cooked stew of the pig's heart and liver with onions, bay leaves, and parsley.
It's good bread.
ისი არჩევანი რო გაგვიკეთონ, რო გითხრან რომ მე საერთოდ ჩვენ დასავლეთს ავირჩევთ, იმიტომ რომ ჩვენი შვილების მომავლისთვის
If we have a choice, we prefer West to Russia because the future for our children is much better there.
But they're still here.
მაგრამ აქ არიან რუსები.
იყვნენ.
We're not afraid.
რუსებიც იყვნენ, მაგრამ იმათი
They're here, but we sleep peacefully. Without fear. And he says, if they come, we'll be here. We'll meet them here. It's been 6 years we couldn't go to the graves.
მაგდრეს ეგვიპტები ცხოვრებაში კაცი ვარ, ცრემლია წამოსვლია და აი მაგდროს მომდის ცრემლი მამა ჩემს საფლავს უყურებ და ვერ მიდირო მამა ჩემს საფლავზე და აღდგომადგეს და ანუ შავი როგორც ჩვენ შვილებს გავამოწევს კარგად იყვნენ. შენ შვილს დავლოცავ, ერთმა დიდხანს გიცოცხლოს და ჯანმრთელობა მისცესკო და ძალიან აი შენ შვილს გავამოწევს. ერთმა ჯანმრთელი გაგიძრა და შენ როგორც გინდა ისეთი ყოფილიყოს.
I don't think I can do this.
მარა უნდა ქნებას. პატარების სადღაც უნდა დალიოთ.
შვილიანები ვართ.
პატარების სადღაც
Working on it. I'll get there. I'll get there.
That's hello.
The wine region of Georgia is called Kakheti, a beautiful area east of Tbilisi made up of foothills and valleys below the Caucasus Mountains. In the hilltop village of Signagi, there's a well-known restaurant called Pheasant's Tears. The chef is a local guy, Gia Rokashvili, who works with what's from the area. Nothing too fancy, but always soulful and delicious, and always served with local wines.
I like to show off my country. You know, I want to sometimes scream, look, this is my country, come and visit. And maybe it's part of my culture, part of my personality. Yeah, we are just proud of our country.
Now, you should know this about me and the people I work with. We don't like working with officials. We avoid tourist boards, official advisors, government employees. We certainly don't hang out with ministers of the countries we're shooting in, who always have an agenda and always want to skew our perspective on our subject. But Keti Bokorishvili is an exception. She is the Deputy Minister of Economy, a remarkable woman, more remarkable for the fact that she's a unique holdover from the previous administration. She goes on and on, never stopping in her efforts to convince the world that Georgia is the place to be. And if you spend any time with this ferociously smart woman and her friend, gallery owner Tamuna Gavabaridze, you will understand and forgive us all of us on the crew, for becoming completely beguiled.
I like the food already. Love the food.
Okay, good. Food you like, I hope wine you like, and then if you like skiing, then that's the place.
And you have to dance also, Georgian dances.
Really? I'm a really, really appalling.
No, you will do that. You know, you will do
Now I'm frightened.
2 or 3 glasses of cha-cha and you're ready to dance. You can do it.
Enough cha-cha. Anything is possible.
I'm gonna toast, take this breath. Let's toast for the, I'm spontaneously thinking right now to achieve our goals and dreams.
To dreams.
The ladies convinced us to make the 90-minute drive to this village and this restaurant, and well, I'm quite happy they did. By the time I've had some more of that delicious and lethal cha-cha and many glasses of delicious Georgian wine, after boiled beets and a wild plum sauce, and freshly foraged mushrooms with chili pepper and mint and tarragon, baby lamb stewed in its own fat with cumin, then cooked together with wild rice, biryani style, and delicious tanis puri, bread straight out of the outdoor tandoor-like clay oven. After all this, I am convinced. I am co-opted. I am recruited. Count me as a useful idiot, a witting agent of the Georgian Ministry of Tourism, for I may as well be.
But I have to underline also that Georgian people are very optimistic, very cheerful. They always see, future in a very, and that drives drives them.
Optimism. Not a lot of it in this world right now. I visit a lot of countries. People are unusually helpful and friendly here. How shall I put this? People are really good looking here. I mean,
Okay, look at us.
It is it's the sort of thing you notice.
Do you know how you look like?
No.
The director, American.
Oh, David Lynch? Really? He has better hair.
I'm so happy that he says that he likes Georgia. Really,
Why would I not?
You're becoming a Georgian, be careful.
We are all humans and we all love each other. So we can sit around the table and we can just love each other. And especially with the help of wine, we can love more.
Georgians also like to drink for peace, because peace was so important in our lives. So
I think we need to change
freedom.
To freedom.
So, Tony, now it's your turn to say the toast.
To this extraordinary place that has managed, against all odds, to endure all these years against so many powerful forces. To two magnificent women.
Thank you.
In the Skneti neighborhood, just up the hill from downtown Tbilisi, is where Georgi Gelovani is hosting a dinner. The food's being prepared by Mariko Gubaladze, the chef of the city's beloved Black Lion Brasserie. And it is going to be epic.
How did you find this?
Well, it's really good.
Not too salty for you?
No.
We love salted cheese.
So do I.
Okay.
It's great for your hangover.
They say that about a lot of things here, I notice.
A variety of Georgian appetizers served pre-dinner, kind of like meze. Spinach with walnuts and wild capers, pickled carrots, cheese curd with roasted hazelnuts and mint, roasted eggplant seasoned with coriander. This thing is amazing. Karcho, stewed chicken, cooked slow with ajika chili sauce, onions, and the oft-used Georgian spices, marigold flower powder, and blue fenugreek.
A lot of what we've been talking about since we got here is, will Georgia continue to look west, or will it, as the Russians would prefer, look to the east?
It's not like the last 200 years or something. It's throughout the existence of Georgia, even though we were surrounded and we had our immediate neighbors were Turkish, Persian, Arab, or whoever else, or Russian, okay? The bias has always been towards, with Europe rather than with the East. We believe that we were part of that culture, however distant we might have actually been.
By regional standards, people don't lower their voices here when they give their opinion, more or less. Okay? It is as...
We never did.
That's it.
Honestly speaking, I think we've done better than many of the Soviet republics.
So, what will it be like in 10 years? I mean, are you optimistic?
Absolutely.
I'm always optimistic.
Optimistic?
Mildly optimistic.
Not so optimistic.
Not so, yeah.
I would say if Georgia is still independent, I'm very optimistic.
Right. Right. Oh, and the next one is absolutely. And the next one is supposed to be for the children, right? Come on.
Or the life.
Or life, yeah.
To dreamers.
Dreamers.
Polyphonic songs are pure Georgian. Eerily reminiscent, though, of mariachi music. They're about pre-Christian things that have always been here, since the beginning, like wind and forest spirits and lost love. Hauntingly beautiful and otherworldly, kind of like Georgia.
We have a request from the audience.
Naglakbay ako sa ating magandang mundo. Nadamang malamig sa balikan. Nakita ang ganda ng aking mundo. Halina't tumayo muna rito.
Twas the week before Christmas, when all through the house, not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. Actually, that's not true at all. Metro Manila, bustling, sprawling Southeast Asian capital of the Philippines, home to somewhere between 12 to 20 million people, the world's most densely populated city. But it is Christmas.
The sound of carols fills the air.
A twinkly, festive wonderland where the mostly Catholic population take their holiday season very seriously.
Hello, Christmas!
Because Filipinos are, for reasons I have yet to figure out, probably the most giving of all people on the planet.
Hello.
Think I'm talking shit? Keep watching.
Good afternoon, everyone. We're the band called Keystone.
OFW stands for Overseas Filipino Worker, and they are one of the Philippines' largest and most important exports. People. Go abroad, make money, improve the quality of life for the whole family. All over the world, the Philippines sends architects, doctors, construction workers, nurses, housekeepers, nannies. The entire Filipino economy relies heavily on the money sent back by more than 10 million OFWs, roughly $30 billion a year, or about 10% of the nation's GDP. Until recently, after domestic workers, the largest category of OFWs were musicians. Like Filipino cover bands. They're everywhere. On cruise ships, in hotel lobbies, bars, and of course, in Manila, where the competition is fierce and the penalties for not getting a beloved biker favorite like, I don't know, Billy Idol, can be severe.
Shotgun. It's a nice day to start again. Come on, it's a nice day for a white wedding. It's a nice day to start again. Come on, it's a nice day for a white wedding. Yeah, it's a
Know this, pampered rock and roll stars. At any given moment, somewhere in the Philippines, there is at least one person, and probably many more, who can step in and do your act better than you. And after only a couple of hours practice. True that I lie to my daughter and tell her that Ronald McDonald has been implicated in the disappearance of small children. That I sneer at fast food, revile it at every opportunity. But I am also a hypocrite, because to me, Filipino chain Jollibee is the wackiest, jolliest place on earth.
Thank you. Hi, sir.
Hello, hi.
Good afternoon.
Could I have a Jolly spaghetti with the hot dogs on it, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Also, chicken joy. Thank you.
Sir. Jolly afternoon.
Welcome to Jollibee. There are over 900 of these things all over the 7,000 plus Philippine islands, and a whole lot more internationally, wherever there are homesick Filipinos. There's a Jollibee in New Jersey, by the way.
Nagyayaya ang ngiti, di na nga mapakali. Halika na, tara na, doon na nga ang punta. Labas lahat ng ngipin, sumagbida ang saya. Dito tayo, kung saan bida ang bata. Sa Jollibee na tayo, mas matunog, mas masaya. Sa Jollibee na tayo, wala nang iba. Sa Jollibee, bida ang saya. Bida ang saya. Bida ang saya.
I hate mascots. You know they fart in those suits. Oh yeah, chicken and spaghetti, and not just any spaghetti. I think it's like sweet banana, ketchup-y stuff with hot dogs. That spaghetti's deranged, yet strangely alluring. Oh, it's not a burger. It's rice. Wait, eat it in a piece? Wait, pour sinister brown sauce? I don't know what it's for. Oh, that's awesome. That's what you do with the brown stuff. I hate myself.
Hi, Mom. Jolly afternoon.
Did I mention it's Christmas? The 7,000 plus islands that make up the Philippines rank #1, according to internet scienticians, when it comes to celebrating the jolliest time of year. Holiday cheer begins a full 100 days before the 25th of December, which means there's a lot to do in this town, especially if you like crashing other people's parties.
All right, party start.
Welcome to the 7 Continents Travel and Tours Corporate Christmas Party, held in the fabulous banquet room of the downtown Pearl Garden Hotel.
Outstanding.
Cheers.
Cheers, everybody.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Very Catholic country.
Very Catholic country, about 80-something%. Christmas starts in September.
Really?
It starts in September. You go to the mall, you start hearing the carols, and then it ends
I would lose my mind.
Yeah, so at 12 midnight of September 1, everyone greets Merry Christmas on Facebook.
Yeah.
It's a lechon on the menu, I believe.
Yes.
I have very fond memories of the last time I had lechon in the Philippines. In fact, not to kiss your ass, but it is the finest pig I've ever had. Amazing.
Providing these babies to holiday parties is big business. And standards here, where pork is king and the lechon the best in the world, very, very high. Today, our little friend is prepared the old-school way. Turns slowly on a spit over coals for hours. Oh, delicious, delicious lechon.
You know, during this time of the year, there's a lot of Christmas parties, and the lechon is always the star of the party.
They gauge how grand the party is by the presence of the lechon. So if you have 2 lechons, you must be a big shot.
Man, that is good pig.
So, my name is Jimmy Villesa. I'm the HR director. And I'm also the happiness guru of the Philippines. So we have to be happy. The season is to be jolly.
The taste of Christmas.
All right, guys, ready?
Dashing through the snow in a one-horse open sleigh.
As we all know, one must, at a holiday party, drink. Then get drunk and tell off the boss. This I expected and was prepared to do. But the games, I was a little surprised by.
Wow, ladies.
Musical cheer.
Then, if I remember correctly, I totally kicked ass at a game of drunken musical chairs. But I can't be absolutely certain. I told them I was Bob from accounting.
Damn, girl.
When they find out, things could get awkward.
Hello, hello, please.
One halo.
Thanks so much. Thank you, ladies. This is wonderful. I don't even know what half of these ingredients are. I mean, it's delicious, but how is it made? What's in it? Let's find out.
Halo.
Halo halo means mix mix,
Banana.
and it is delicious.
Nata di coco. Mongo.
Looking good.
An icy, milky, technicolor concoction of sundry sweet mung beans, candied fruits, and gelatins.
Sweet coconut.
Oh, yeah.
Mel. Delicious.
This is a wonderful creation. It's got that kind of like, I feel like the Fruit Loops marinate in the milk for a while. The milk kind of tastes like this. Yeah, you want one?
Thank you.
That's okay. Very satisfying. Yeah, I recommend it. This looks really good.
Night in Metro Manila, and I'm ready for my single favorite Filipino street food. Possibly the best thing you could ever eat with a cold beer. I'm talking, of course, about sisig. Hot, sizzling pig face with a runny egg on top, and bitch, you better act somebody because nothing is getting in between me and this spicy, chewy, fatty goodness.
Just mix it up and go?
Exactly.
Yes.
Yes. There's a lot of sisig restaurant here, but here's one is the best.
This is really, really good.
This evening's dining companions, cover band, Regatta.
Jingle bells, jingle all the way.
You may remember them from such epic office Christmas parties as last night's.
This is the Christmas season. A lot of Christmas parties?
Yeah.
There's a lot.
A lot of work? This is a good season for you guys.
It's a big season.
All over Southeast Asia. Any hotel lobby, any hotel bar, there's a Filipino band.
Exactly.
And that is true.
And I've sat there drunk and challenged band after band. Shirley Bassey, no problem. All of Dark Side of the Moon, no problem. All of Guns N' Roses, no problem.
And that is true.
Music and singing are a huge part of life in the Philippines. So making it as a cover band, being sent abroad to perform, is a big deal. But one thing remains the same always. To succeed, you better be able to pick up new material fast.
Whitney Houston, Celine Dion, Tony Braxton,
And of course,
Beatles, and Elvis Presley.
How many songs in your repertoire? Around how many?
Like 1,000 already.
And if you don't know it, you pretty much can fake it real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
5 years from now, where would you like to be? Where would you like to be playing?
That's a good question. Like, my biggest dream is to play in Las Vegas, the US.
This is my dream.
When we get to the dream, you know, playing at Las Vegas, we want to play first. When we got there, we are the champions. If we get there.
Merry Christmas, everyone! Merry Christmas, everyone!
Despite initial appearances, the Philippines is not all holiday cheer, warm hellos, and dancing bugs. The Filipino national martial art, Kali, is among the most brutal, the most remorseless defense systems going. It was developed to deal with some very harsh realities and a very tough, very bloody history. 3 centuries of brutal Spanish colonial rule. Invasion by the Japanese. Near the end of World War II, American forces bombed Manila, pretty much leveling the city. Ferdinand and Imelda Marcos's extravagantly corrupt regime. Martial law. Although the Philippines has remained a democracy since then, it can seem, at times, fragile. Now, you're both photojournalists.
Yep.
Based out of Manila?
Yeah, me. Mark lives in Mindanao.
Mindanao. Now, does a journalist need to carry a firearm in this country?
For me, yes.
In the Philippines, a press badge is no defense, particularly in the south of the country, where Mark Navales lives and works.
Mindanao has been war-torn for the last how many years? Because of the radicalization of recent years, this growing specter of ISIS, Mindanao is fertile ground for that.
Now, traditionally, the argument against journalists arming themselves is that journalists have always been able to portray themselves as non-combatants.
Yes.
There was some presumption that they would not shoot you.
Yeah.
But these days, people seem to not make that distinction.
Yes, dating back to the Marcos years even.
Since 1992, 77 journalists were killed.
Politics here can be deadly. Just before Christmas in 2009, the Maguindanao massacre claimed the lives of 58 people, dozens of whom were journalists. It was the single deadliest event for journalists in history. Mark was the first one on the scene with a camera.
There is no system of justice. There is no government attending to your needs.
Nobody's coming to save you, is that what you're saying?
No one's coming to save you.
You know, I have my family, I have my small kids.
Yeah.
For me, my last recourse there is to defend myself.
Look, it's very much a do-it-yourself culture. You can see that.
Right.
You see it in people's homes, the way they just stacked one on top of each other, built out using spare bits of metal. And it's like, nobody else is going to give it for me. I'll build it.
Right.
I'll make it myself.
Right.
There's a lot of poverty in this city, that is for sure. But there's not a sense of hopelessness or rage. You know, they decorate. You know, they may not have much, but they decorate.
Yes,
they sweep the street.
There's still a sense of humble ownership, in the sense of this is my home and it's going to be safe, it's going to be fine.
We're seeing some forecasts calling for up to 1 meter of rain. This is a super typhoon, and that means sustained winds well above 200 kilometers per hour.
In any metropolis, you find all the good and the bad in the world. Manila, being bigger than most, has plenty of both. Yet this is a nation of 7,000 islands, and I really wanted to see at least one more of them. But I learned about something Filipinos are only too familiar with: the typhoon. So it looks like it's going to be Christmas in the city.
Thank you. Cheers.
I never meant to be so bad to you. One thing I said that I would never do. But look from you and I would fall from grace. And I will wipe the smile right from my face. 'Cause it's the heat of the moment. Telling me what your heart meant. The heat of the moment. Show me your
Name of the band is?
Keystone.
Keystone.
Yes.
How long have you been playing together?
Around 5 years.
5 years.
5 years.
All right, guys, here we
Awesome.
go.
Hey.
Adobo's in the house. Yes.
Looking pretty.
Thank you, thank you.
As one does, I dragooned the band Keystone in a lunch, assuming, correctly as it turned out, that one of these young punks would know how to make a good adobo.
Is there a single authentic adobo recipe, or does everybody do it differently?
Everyone would stake claim to having the best adobo, but the basic ingredients, I think, will remain the same. So it's garlic, pork. We can now add the chicken, vinegar, peppercorns, bay leaf, soy sauce.
This adobo is amazing. I mean, it's really, really good.
Oh, man. Thank you, thank you.
Delicious. And where did you learn to cook adobo?
I learned this from my mom.
So the answer, as always, to who makes the best adobo is Mom makes the best adobo. Okay.
That would
All
be
right.
the safest answer.
All right.
Mom.
Filipinos like feeding people.
Yes, yes.
What else do Filipinos like?
Filipinos are hospitable.
Music.
Everybody knows how to sing. Everybody knows how to sing. They don't necessarily have to be in tune, but they want to sing, they like to sing.
Like we've been listening to music like on a very young age.
I'm the drummer for the band, but I'm not actually formally trained. Up to this day, I don't even read notes. But I could memorize a song. If you gave it to me like in a day, I could play
Well,
the whole
that's
thing.
pretty much you have to, right? I mean,
Yeah.
now, you guys have played abroad?
No. We have
No.
not, yeah, so it's one of the goals, actually.
5 years from now, where would you like to be?
Hopefully we get we get to play for a bigger crowd, you know, because I think the fulfillment for me is actually getting more people to enjoy the music.
Filipinos speak about home with immense pride and love. And if you're an overseas Filipino worker, longing.
Good looking.
Especially during the holidays.
Oh, come in, come in. Hello. Merry Christmas. God bless you. Hi.
It's always, always about family in the Philippines, or anywhere you find Filipinos. For Christmas, of course, everybody, those who can anyway, gets together. Like family matriarch Aurora and her daughter Annalyn.
Okay, Annalyn, you're a big help.
And Amy and Ruben, her adopted children.
Amy, can you hand me that Bailey? Wow, it smells so good.
Also cousins, nieces, nephews, grandchildren, even some great-grandchildren.
La, 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 la. I love cooking. I really love cooking. Kari-kari is one of the favorite of the Filipino people. And to make a kari-kari, I use tripes and I put the oxtail on the pressure cooker.
Wow, wow, wow.
Now the peanut butter.
Here, the peanut butter, mother.
Peanut butter, please. No more, no more. Now, the banana blossom.
The eggplant.
The eggplant. Oh, holy night, the stars are brightly shining. Here is the kari-kari. I hope everybody will enjoy this. Okay, it's time to eat. Although we always say it's ladies first, I think we'll serve you.
It's okay this time? Just this once. So good. So how long have you been back in the Philippines?
In the Philippines, 3 years.
3 years now.
Yeah.
Where have you worked? Hong Kong for 5 years?
For 5 years, and then I went to America. I stayed there for almost 30 years.
Aurora is recently back in Manila after most of her life spent abroad.
What kind of work were you doing?
I did the housekeeping, you know, and babysitting.
The money she sent home put everybody here and many, many more through school, lifted them up to a more comfortable life.
And you left family behind
Yeah.
to go out there and make money.
That's never an easy decision, a painful, painful choice. Aurora's children, now middle-aged, are finally getting to know their mother.
Okay. Bring in the food inside.
Many, many, many Filipino women like you who had to leave their families, go abroad.
Yeah, absolutely it is.
Her 3 children. My eldest is about 4 years now in Qatar. Then the other one is 2 years. And then the other one is in Hong Kong.
Working conditions for OFWs, particularly in some Gulf states, can be punishing at best, abusive, or worse.
I'm a single mom with my 2 grandchildren. I really cried a lot, especially this holiday season.
Still, due to lack of opportunity at home, many Filipinos have little choice but to go somewhere far away. Find a job, money.
But hopefully, in a few years, you think they come back?
Yes.
Yeah, I hope
really
so.
ask them to go home because I'm not getting younger anymore. I need them with my side. I tell them several times they call me up, please get home soon. I need you.
Any Filipino watching will recognize this immediately. The Balikbayan box, a Christmas tradition, a way for OFWs to show loved ones, though separated by oceans, that you miss them, that you're still out there. What's in these boxes? Whatever you can send. Little things you'd casually give to a loved one if you didn't live on the other side of the world. This facility alone sorts thousands of these boxes a day during the Christmas season. Just one of hundreds of facilities like it. Some 5 to 7 million boxes a year. That's a lot of love.
So how many relatives do you think you have in America?
In America, oh my gosh.
Florida.
Seattle, California, Albert.
My ate, my elder sister, is in California.
In Hong Kong, we have at least
10.
10.
Yeah.
And then Dubai around 8. And Qatar.
I'm at this Christmas gathering today because of one of our directors, Eric Osterholm. It was Aurora who raised him. For over 20 years, she cared for and loved Eric and his sister, looked after his whole family.
Eric sent me a letter talking about you. I wanted to read you what he said. Aurora is such an incredible woman. She has an infectious and loving energy that is so powerful. I am 100% the man I am today because this woman literally raised me from when I was 6 months old, singing to me, dancing with me, wiping away my tears, cooking for me, and making me laugh at every turn. Unfortunately, like so many Filipinos, her story is not all smiles and love. She had to choose a life away from her daughter and thousands of miles from her family. There are literally thousands of people around the world, thousands of people around the world, me included, who have been influenced by her endless kindness and love.
Filipinos give of themselves, of their time, their money, their love to others. They do and continue to do what needs to be done to survive.
Edelweiss, Edelweiss, every morning I greet you. Small and white, clean and bright, bless my homeland forever. Blossom of snow, may you bloom and grow, bloom and grow forever. Edelweiss, Edelweiss, bless my homeland forever. Oh my gosh. Oh, this is from Alberta. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. You cannot have it. Is that so much? Yes, yes.
That's my name.
I really hope you enjoyed the simple gift I sent, and I know that my heart is with you always. I love you very much, Albert.
Kölsches Grundgesetz. Et is wie et is. Et gut wie et gut. Et het noch immer Jod hier. Hat fort is fort. Et blieb nix wie et war. Kennen wir nicht, brauchen wir nicht, fort damit. Was willst du machen? Mach et Jod, aber nicht so auf. Was soll der Quatsch? Bringst du ihn mit?
I took a walk through this beautiful world. Felt the cool rain on my shoulder. Found something good in this beautiful world. I felt the rain getting colder. Sha la 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 la, sha la 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 la, sha la 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 la, sha la 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 la.
They say, and by they I mean people from around here, that Cologne is an ugly city. This is quickly followed by the proud statement that the people are nice, that they're welcoming, tolerant, kind, open to new things. I never saw Cologne as ugly at all. I always saw it as, well, charming, in the least patronizing sense of the word. I mean, the city charms you. It takes you in. It makes you feel welcome. Maybe it was the non-douchey beer culture here that appealed. I don't mean beer culture in a judgmental neckbeard hovering over you waiting for you to decide between craft beers way either. I mean that here decent beer is a way of life. It's a birthright. You don't talk about it too much. You freaking drink it. Beer here means, more often than not, Kolsch. Heinz Gruna has lived in Cologne his whole life.
Cheers oder Prost?
Prost.
He does marketing for several German breweries, so Kolsch is an integral part of both his social and business lives.
Kolsch is not a brand. What is this? Anyway.
Let's call it a style. It's a pale ale, and people love to drink it in high amounts.
Malzmühle Brewery has been slinging beer non-stop for the last 150 years. Democratic, utilitarian, welcoming to all people with a powerful thirst.
I love the whole style, the little glasses. Is this unique to Cologne?
Other regions of Germany, you won't find such small glasses.
Right.
They start with 03 to 05.
To the giant.
Yeah.
You know, if you have a giant thing of beer, it's like piss warm by the time you get down to the bottom.
Right. But here, it's necessary because it is not very carbonated, and the foam disappears in minutes. There are guys who drink it in one sip.
I'm not sure of the exact blood absorption rate of alcohol, but I would think that if you're hammering these things back, it's hitting your bloodstream at the perfect rate.
Maybe we have to name them alcoholic, but they are accustomed to it.
There are certain iconic accompaniments to beer drinking when in Cologne, like Methappen, which is minced raw pork with onions on a roll. Or Halfhahn, which is simply Gouda cheese on rye.
This is really good.
Now you see how it goes, no? You get a coach without ordering.
I don't like this custom, though. I don't want to know how many beers I've had.
But he has to know.
That's fine. Can he do his own little system? Somewhere around here, I'm thinking, geez, I've got a problem.
It's when the Himmel und Ed, or heaven and earth, hits the table that I start getting deep into my happy zone. That's blood sausage, fried onions, and mashed potatoes with applesauce, which, if you don't like, by the way, pretty much removes you from my will save from drowning list. And then there's this, the dish that almost alone brought me back to Cologne. It was sweet, sweet memories of this stegosaurus-sized shank of cured pork, boiled and boiled until it literally falls away from the bones, steaming and moist, a symphony of meat and gelatin and good, good stuff. God is hiding in there somewhere.
Cologne is a workers' town, you know, so the kitchen is definitely a workers' kitchen.
And yet, it has a pretty liberal, progressive worldview. Where did that come from?
It has something to do with the river. Occupation here was trading. So the Cologne people from the beginning were interested in other people, and they took profit of other people. We are not afraid of influences from outside. But therefore, it's also important to have some traditions that are lasting for a long time.
And one of those would be Kolsch.
One of is Kolsch, one of it's a dish, and people know that they can come here and it won't change. This place will not change in the next 200 years.
Cologne is, or was, a predominantly Catholic city, perhaps more Mediterranean in temperament than those fun-hating Lutherans and Calvinists. It's Germany's fun zone, and from November to February, Cologners celebrate Carnival. Partying here has a whole season. An exuberant, anarchistic, batshit wild 40-day celebration leading up to Lent. It can be absolute mayhem. My completely rational fear of clowns, mimes, parades, public dancing, and crowds in general really prohibits me from taking part. These days, Brian Jones could come back from the grave for one night only with the Stones, and Janice and Jimmy and Jim, they could all be there. And you know what? I ain't going. But the Coloners, God bless them, they love it. Oma Kleinman handles enormous crowds of revelers. Fortunately, the madness is still a few weeks away. And this is my old friend Tracy, who had the good or bad fortune, depending on how you look at it, to travel and produce shows around the world with me for many years. Anka is from Cologne and makes me feel better about my carnival phobia.
Carnival. You like carnival.
I do, and I'm not ashamed to say it.
Will jesters and bards and medievally attired pranksters be popping up during my stay here?
You're missing out, you really
Mimes? No mimes, troubadours, jugglers, human statues.
All of them are wearing bonkers costumes and look like shit all day. I don't like it. No, I always get embarrassed about those people.
Yeah.
I hate carnival.
I hate carnival too.
Are there parades?
Yes.
I hate parades.
Okay.
Are there clowns?
You hate clowns.
I hate clowns.
Okay.
Jesters?
Yeah, occasionally.
Festive attire? I have beer right now. I don't need no stinking carnival to drink beer, man. And as I understand it, I'm urged to drink beer as part of a community of beer drinking with other bros. I hate bros.
I mean, it's not just bros. It's a whole community of people speaking in dialect, singing songs in dialect.
Singing. I forgot to mention that. I hate that too.
There is another side, and if you open your heart, you would see it.
My heart is a cold, cold place, and there's no room in it for jugglers. What did you think when you heard that I want to come to Germany and go to Cologne?
That's awesome, because Cologne is like the other city in Germany that I can really identify with. It's like I have this love affair with Cologne.
I often say that the places I go, there's a pheromonic decision made very quickly. You step outside the airport terminal and you go, and you know right away. There's something about this place that I think I'm going to like.
A few weeks ago, a friend of mine from Berlin came to visit me, and after 3 days, he just looked at me and said, "Anka, what is this? Why are you all so satisfied? Why are you all so happy? Why are you all so relaxed?" And I said, "I don't know. Maybe it is because everybody's telling us that our city is ugly and Berlin is the big thing, and maybe we have to show with our hearts that we are good people and that we are having fun, and I think the Kölsch is helping us."
For some reason, every time I arrive here, I always feel like somehow that people are more open here to me being American and speaking German. And part of it is this carnival thing.
Really?
Maybe it's my own self-discovery of like being in another place and finally being accepted, maybe because I'm in costume and they don't know right away that I'm not German.
Right, it's kind of like an eyes wide shut kind of a thing.
This is what I came here for, though. Surfboard-sized slabs of veal and pork, filled with many wonderful things, dredged in breadcrumbs and fried in magical, magical deep fat. Now that's a carnival I can get behind.
Wow.
That is unbelievable.
Supposedly, you can split your schnitzel in half, take the other half home, and it's really good for breakfast. It's like the German equivalent of pizza in the morning.
Right, which is a tradition I totally support. Considering it's a beer drinking culture, at the end of the night, will there be 2 or 3 or 5 or 10 people all hanging out like way past the point that they should have gone home? Or does everybody reach a sensible point of intoxication and say, well, you know what? I'll see you tomorrow. You're forcing beers on us. I didn't order a beer. Another one just keeps coming.
Do you know how to make it stop?
Face plant into my schnitzel?
There's an easier way. You do this. That means, like, I'm done.
Yeah, but nobody's doing that.
Not yet. I'm not doing that.
So let's talk about the elephant in the room. We know that Cologne is a proudly tolerant, fun-loving, beer-drinking, pork-happy, and friendly little city. But just a few days before we arrived, Cologne became the focus of the whole argument over Europe's refugee crisis. Cologne, of all places, is now the example for both sides of an increasingly bitter argument over whether Europe, and by extension the world, should turn their backs on the millions of refugees spilling out of Syria, Iraq, and a Middle East spinning into chaos and slaughter. With the bodies of children washing up on Greek beaches and few other countries willing to help, Germany has taken in 1.1 million people fleeing ISIS, Russian and Syrian bombs, and war. One should, I believe, be admired and even celebrated for doing the morally right thing over the probably wise thing. Saker Al-Mohammed is one of many who found his way to Cologne. Hani Zaitoun helps refugees as they try to integrate into German society. This is unsurprisingly easier said than done.
Getting to Turkey, no problem.
Yes.
Turkey to Greece, problem.
Getting to Turkey is now a problem.
Right.
But at that time, it was not a problem.
Next went from Greece to Macedonia,
Yes.
correct? Welcome there? No. Serbia? No. Were you welcomed here?
Yes. Very welcome.
So here we are, Cologne, one of the most liberal, if not the most liberal cities in Germany. A city doing the right thing. And on New Year's Eve, the whole attitude towards refugees, not just European policy, but the whole moral question was thrown into doubt. Cologne found itself the test case, both example of tolerance and hope, and worst case scenario. Here's what was reported. On the night of December 31st, 2015, witnesses saw crowds of up to 1,000 men, described as predominantly Arab and North African, near Cologne's central train station. Some broke off into small groups, assaulting hundreds of women as they left the train station. Police were completely unprepared. The situation continued, reportedly, for hours. 3 weeks after the incident, the official numbers were as horrifying as first reported. 766 criminal complaints, of which 381 are sexual offenses, including 3 rapes. Many across the world, of course, saw this as the perfect "I told you so" moment. A sadly understandable reaction. There is no minimizing 381 sexual offenses in one night.
How big an effect is this going to have on the situation?
So all Syrians that I knew were totally condemning what happened. And we absolutely cannot tolerate something like this because it's not a part of my culture. It's not a part of what...
Do you think it will change the political climate is what I'm asking? Before, it was relatively easy for a German politician to say, look, have a heart here. Let's do the right and moral thing. And it is being used as a club to beat any politician or leader who would like to have a more conciliatory or more welcoming attitude towards people who clearly need help.
Refugees are human beings, and some of them are good, and some of them are bad. There is 500 refugees who did this, and they're pretty bad. It's the fault of those who did it, but it's not the fault of the refugees. It's not the fault of the Germans.
The infrastructure exists more or less to handle this enormous influx.
An integration of 300,000 would be easier than integration of 1.1 million that entered in 2015. This is a challenge not only for the Germans, but also for those who came to integrate in the community. It's something that have to be work on from both sides, not only the Syrians, but also the Germans. The Germans are willing to, because they're pretty well organized.
Germany and Cologne had reason to believe they could pull this off, absorb all those refugees from a culture very different than their own. Here in Cologne, the Turkish presence is larger than any other in the country.
As I understand it, during the 60s, 70s, the German industry essentially recruited, in cooperation with the Turkish government, huge numbers of Turkish workers. Was that the beginning of the sizable Turkish population?
Yes, it was. Like my grandfather and my grandmother, they came here in the 70s. My parents, they started to work in a company, like in a wool company. Everybody has almost the same story here in the third generation.
Melik Yaprak's grandparents were among the first wave of Turks to arrive in Cologne. And to a great extent nowadays, Turkish food is German food, the way Italian, Eastern European, Jewish, and Chinese have become American food. Rocky to start.
Prost.
Prost.
That brings me back.
Yeah. This brings back Istanbul to us.
Yeah.
When we go there, we have always rakı in the Bosporus, and here, this is like Istanbul feeling for us.
Yeah, me too.
And meze, spicy mashed vegetables, tzatziki, hummus, beetroot and olive dip, fried eggplant, pastries with feta, meatballs with tomato sauce and mint.
Whoa, that looks really pretty.
I don't think that you have any problems with spice. Yeah?
No. I like very
all right.
much. Since you were born here, how Turkish do you feel, and how German do you feel, and when does that equation change? Are there times that you feel like I'm not part of this, or other times you feel, oh, I'm definitely part of this?
That's a question I'm thinking about all my life. In my heart, I'm Turkish. In my head, I'm German. I'm glad that my parents wanted to have a good education for me, but still at home, they were Turkish, like Turkish traditions and Turkish thinking. So I was always on both sides. And now I'm adult enough to pick the best ones from both sides.
Growing up here as the child of Turkish immigrants, how did you feel at school? You felt German?
Yeah.
So why do you think Germany's good at that?
The Germans are very correct people. They want to have everything on the point. They don't like surprises, so they organize everything before.
It's almost a cliche that it's organized.
It's not a cliche, it's organized.
Grilled minced lamb basted with hot tomato sauce and slathered with melted sheep butter and yogurt. Roast lamb with feta, bulgur, and roasted vegetables.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Dankeschön.
So, if you graduate from university here and choose to live in Cologne, could you afford to live here?
Yeah.
So it's reasonably affordable.
Yeah, but because of the refugee situation, I think living space is becoming less, like everywhere.
Do you think this is a pretty town? Most of the people I speak to say, well, you know, we're a very ugly city.
Yeah.
But I don't think so. I think it's very pretty.
Everything was destroyed after the Second World War.
Yeah, but it's not the most beautiful city in the world, but it is not an ugly city, I mean, at all.
I think I'm more with the ugly city.
You think it's ugly?
The buildings are new, ugly, gray, like made up after the Second World War. There's only a small old town.
Right.
I miss old buildings like in Munich.
So 20 years from now, will Cologne be the same?
I don't know. I don't want to think about it because now it's fine. I love it as it is now.
I don't hear that a lot. If you go to San Francisco, Rio, they're pressing problems. Or that the character of the city is changing. The character of the city does not seem to be changing.
No, it stays as it is.
If there's one musical movement or one band that represents Cologne better than this one, I don't know what it could be. Created in 1968 with Holger Czukay, Jackie Leibzeit, Michael Caroli, and this man, Ermin Schmidt, Cannes was at the forefront of what was called inevitably the Kraut rock movement, combining the sounds and attitudes of classical, avant-garde, rock, and funk.
So you moved here, how old were you when you came?
64.
Interesting time, 64.
It was a very interesting time. It was the time of where Cologne was really blossoming. It was the art town in Germany.
Ermin studied with Karl-Heinz Stockhausen, But it was a trip to New York City where he was exposed to what Lou Reed and the similarly classically trained John Cale were doing with the Velvet Underground that would prove to be the catalyst for Cannes.
64 was still pretty early days for cultural ferment, I guess.
But not here.
Not here. So,
Not here.
So the question is, why here? What was it about Cologne?
Well, I think it's this generation which were like me. We grew up in this after-war terrible destruction. And that was the generation which started to create something new. There was bubbling from everywhere.
We're having dinner at Ox und Clay, part of the new Cologne dining scene where chef Daniel Gottsleich plans to kill us with deliciousness. Grilled scallop with black salsify, a consommé of burned hay, lemon gelée, and walnut oil.
When you began Cannes, what was the initial reception?
In the beginning, they said that we are not able to play music. We were dilettantes.
But I mean, you were all technically proficient, accomplished musicians.
We were all, except the guitar player, who was the youngest. But Holger, Jackie, and me had a musical career already behind us of 10 years. For us, it was important to create something by more or less listening to the other and intuitively trying to create something spontaneously. We didn't even plan to become a rock group.
Was there a precise moment at which you crossed the line, in which you all looked at each other and said, wow, I guess we're a rock group now?
I'm not sure we ever said we are a rock group.
Grilled lobster with a dashi of eel, marinated algae, fermented kale, and yuzu froth.
If people were to draw a direct line forward to bands and musicians who were influenced by your music, for instance, you know, people mention the Bowie, Iggy Pop, Berlin period, and a lot of other great work. What about EDM? Do you share the blame?
No.
Is it good or bad?
It's good.
It's a positive thing.
It's positive.
Electronic dancers.
Yes, sure. I mean, you can't anyway classify any style or any kind of music as good or bad.
But it excludes the musicians. Traditionally, is it the opposite of what music should be? Is it all okay?
I have no idea what music should be, because whenever you start knowing what should be, you are already starting a new dogma.
Yeah, I hear you.
There are DJs which make fantastic music, and they make it for a certain purpose. I mean, there is the purpose of this environment, and they fit. Neither the purpose nor any dogma can be used as a judgment for your music.
Braised ox cheeks with marrow, beetroots with mustard, gratin potatoes, black truffle.
You don't get paid for the influence you have on the culture.
No, I wouldn't complain about that. I mean, we never consciously did something intending to make money with. We still have fans which are 16 years old and think this is a music created yesterday, and it's 45 years old.
Does that feel good?
That's satisfying too.
An amazing meal, but you know, the heart wants what the heart wants. And baby, I'll always come back to you. And if history teaches us anything, it's that chefs, no matter how elevated their food, how fine their restaurants, chefs, at the end of a long night, want this: grilled bratwurst with curry. Daniel and his friend Dimitri come here to Freshbud for the bratwurst and spice-braten, which is just what you need at this hour. Marinated, rotisseried shoulder of pork.
Mayo. Oh, yeah. Oh, I feel so ashamed.
Drunk or sober, good is good. And I want this. You want this. We all want this, right?
Where did currywurst come from? I mean, this is a truly fiendish idea. It sounds like a really bad idea.
Nobody knows, really.
Nobody knows. It just appeared one day. Ordinarily, I'm totally against mayonnaise on fries.
Yeah, they don't even ask you sometimes.
Really? Just
Yeah, they just
right
put it on there.
And then put like 50 cents for the mayonnaise.
Yeah.
Man, that's good. The legend is Cologne is a very accepting of new cultures, accepting of new, obviously, cuisine. Why?
It's a good question.
I guess we have a lot of gay people here.
Mm-hmm.
People say it's like the San Francisco of Germany.
It's a very Catholic town. Catholics are not notoriously, gay
Yeah.
friendly. What happened here?
That's a very good question. Huh?
Yeah, I don't know the answer.
It's sort of a nightmare scenario for a conservative. You're saying it's basically immigrants, homosexuals, and artists have made the town what it is. Can I find work here?
As a chef, yes. As a good chef, yes.
What if I were a mime?
There's actually a lot of them here.
Prostitute, work here?
Yeah, a lot of them. This is like the biggest brothel in Europe.
That doesn't sound like a good thing. Smallest and most discreet might sound better. Biggest.
Yeah, well, it's also famous for its parties. So you can probably undercover go to a brothel. You say like, oh yeah, I'm just partying.
Why of all the places in Europe would the largest brothel be in here?
Basically every month there's like a big convention here. So I guess if you're looking for company, maybe that's why.
It's a city of contrasts. I mean, on one hand, it's very Catholic. You would think conservative. If you look at the menus of a lot of the places here, very traditional, pretty much the same menu in a lot of the places.
Yeah.
And yet, then there's your place. They're all doing well. It's very confusing. I need more beer.
Yeah.
3 more?
3 more?
Please.
Not 1, 3? Yes. No problem.
That's what I like to hear.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers, guys.
Cologne, you gotta love it. They support artwork that might get you punched in the face elsewhere. Performance artist, painter, and cooking enthusiast René Stessel works and lives here. His current project is called The Restaurant of the Egoists, where you dine alone with a full-length mirror across from you at the table. Which is weird, right? Oh wait, let me get a selfie. Did I Instagram my food yet?
The restaurant of ignorance, it's a question. If egoism, it's a bad thing, or it's also a good thing. I found out, or it's fact that it's also a good thing, because simple example, if you help a guy sitting on the street needs money, you give him the money. You helped him, of course, but you help yourself feeling happy, feeling lucky because you helped another. It's a kind of energy, a kind of engine who makes people helping other people.
Kleine Glock has been a hangout for Cologne's artist community since the First World War, which seems like a bad business model, but it seems to work. They like artists in Cologne.
You can feel free with the way how you think, and it's all about the Colonians. I don't know why the Colonians are like the Colonians,
right,
but they are the most tolerant and open people I met, and that makes it easy for artists because you can go onto the streets and really make experiments on the street with your art, and nobody sends you the police.
Are chefs artists?
No. No. There is a connection between painting a picture and doing a sauce, because you have to find a balance, and this is the only one connection.
I happen to agree with you. As much as we might like to think of them as artists, I think chefs are proud craftsmen or artisans. I think there's one chef who I would argue is an artist. I would hold up Ferran Adria as an example of an artist.
As I know, he don't believe he's an artist. No, he says, I'm a cook.
Yeah, but I think he's wrong.
Rheinischer Sauerbraten, traditional Sauerbraten, good Sauerbraten. But Morrissey is going to brown out his shorts. He sees you eating this, because it is, how shall I say, equine in origin. Old Bessie didn't quite make it to the soap factory.
You like horse meat?
Yeah, I do like it, actually. This is one of the few places that still does it.
Yeah.
The arbitrary decisions we make about what animals we're going to eat, even I do. You know, 15 years I've been eating all over the world.
Yeah.
I've never eaten dog.
If you are cute as an animal, you are lucky.
I think it's the eyes, big eyes. It's not food.
Too bad they're out of panda today. That would piss some people off. I kid, no panda. Rene is hitting the schnitzel hard, and I see he has opted for the egg on top.
So Cologne, proud of its attitude towards art, artists, different cultures. Germany's accepted somewhere in the neighborhood of 1 million refugees. How do you realistically say, welcome to Germany, and we're all going to learn to live together? Can that be done?
It could be done, of course, but I hope that all the right-wing people will not develop. And this is, for example, a job for an artist. Maybe we should go out 100 people with Nazi uniforms and walk through the city. Maybe this kind of actions will just make the people remind on the time and what our grandfathers did wrong. We really have to take care that we don't fall back in these structures.
But we kind of are.
We are on the way. We are
here necessarily. We're well on our way.
I'm allowed to be naive and,
I honestly
talk about utopias. It's a kind of utopia, just the fact that the whole world will mix up with each other, that in, I don't know, 70, 80 years, there will be no white people anymore and only cappuccino-colored people.
Look, that's the only way. This is the only solution. It's my way of thinking.
Mix up,
it's our only hope, is our way out of this.
Yes.
It's going to take some time, but it's really the only way. This sort of Singaporean model where everybody's so mixed up that you really don't know who to hate because everybody's so hopelessly intertwined, but we're a long way from that.
The tortured relationship between Cologne and its sister city, Dusseldorf, is a study in differences. Most notably, the beer is different. The attitudes are different. It's, if you listen to partisans from either side, a short trip, but another planet.
Do they speak a different language here or something?
Yes, it's a different dialect.
It's not an accent. The actual words are different.
Yes.
The words are different, the spelling is different, and also the meaning of some words is different.
And the beer, most importantly, the beer.
And the beer, yes. In Cologne, we have a pale beer, a light beer, and here we have a very dark beer.
Right.
It's called Alt, but it's not old, as the word Alt means.
Right.
It's surprisingly fresh.
Fresh. I would like some fresh beer.
Yeah.
Uriga Obergariga is another one of those old and awesome German institutions designed to serve maximum number of people, the maximum amount of beer, and pork products with maximum efficiency. Look at this. Opened in 1862 and able to serve hundreds of people day and night, it's a marvel of orderliness in an uncertain world. Heinz and his friend Judith introduced me to Alt, the completely different beer these Dusseldorfians drink.
It's quite good.
Yes.
And me, as a Cologne person, I must admit there is a lot more taste in this beer than it is in Kölsch. Unfortunately, after 3 or 4 of these beers, I'm full.
So as a utility, everyday beer, Kölsch has definitely got an advantage. You can just drink it all day.
Yes, but the Düsseldorf people, they are accustomed to it, so I think they can do 10 or 15.
Pickled eggs, peel, cut in half, remove the yolk, add mustard and a bit of oil and vinegar, return the yolk, and go.
Perfect for beer drinking.
It's work, but it's worth the effort.
They make you do this yourself? I thought it was Cologne they're supposed to be, you know, working class. I mean,
Yes, this is working class. Yes.
there's not a lot of love between Dusseldorf and Cologne. Why can't we all get along?
There was a battle in the 13th century.
Right.
And Düsseldorf won the battle, and that was the moment Düsseldorf got a city.
Right.
The city rights.
Right.
Yes. They have a different history, of course.
Right.
They are a little bit more administration, a little bit posh.
Much more posh.
How would they describe each other? Oh, all of those people in Dusseldorf, they're all stuck up. They care about outward appearances, and they're all administrators, and they don't really work, or I don't know. I mean,
That was a perfect explanation.
Cabbage and metwurst, which is simply kale and sausage and delicious. And spicy pork goulash with rye bread.
Oh, that looks healthy.
Thank
well,
you.
kind of.
There's one difference as well. When I was a little kid in Cologne, I never heard the word Düsseldorf.
What do? They say the other place?
No, even not that. It was not part of our conversation, of our thoughts, of our...
Your world.
Of our world.
Really?
The first times when I came to Düsseldorf, I learned that the Düsseldorf people, they look to Cologne.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
it's a smaller town, and Cologne is more in the media.
Which city's better?
Yeah, only one answer, that's true. Cologne, for sure.
Why? What accounts for Cologne's, some would say, un-German, relaxed and open style? One explanation might be the dead Roman theory. I have suggested that the presence of long-dead Roman legions enriches the soil, making for good wine and a propensity for frolicking and drinking that wine. It is, I hasten to add, an idiotic theory, but I want it to be true.
Cheers.
Maurizio Arca here is German-Italian, sort of.
You've been represented to me as Italian, but you're Sardinian.
Yes, I am.
Now, this is a whole different thing.
It is, definitely.
My father-in-law and his whole family are from Nuoro.
Really?
So I am well familiar with Sardinia, and I know that, you know, this is not a dialect, this is a language.
Yeah,
and there is some ambivalence about whether they even consider themselves Italy.
They don't consider themselves as Italian because they always been left alone by the state. And I don't know Italy. You know, I've been in Siena, I've been to Rome, I've been to Milano, but that's it.
So Italy is more foreign country than Germany.
Yep.
You couldn't find me an Italian. I mean, what the man?
Trattoria Bar Celentano doesn't look like much, but what they're serving is deceptively good. Antipasti, grassi, carpaccio, tomatoes with pepper, parmigiana, grilled zucchini, mortadella.
The Italians came during that period, I guess, in the 70s, to work in factories, along with the Turks and Eastern Europeans and everybody else who came in.
Like my dad did, for example. He worked in a car factory near Osnabrück.
Was your neighborhood Italian or mixed or German?
It was mixed. There were like these homes made for the guest worker program. You know, all immigrants were like stuffed in there.
And integrated?
Yeah.
Meaning the Italians didn't all live together?
Not all Italians, but lots of immigrants, like Turkish people, Italian people, surrounded by Germans.
What did they think of the food, your parents? Like when they first said, look at all the cabbage and the potatoes and the giant hunks of
They love
pork.
potatoes, that's for sure.
Right.
But all this other stuff like Haxen, they don't like that stuff.
When you came home from school, what did your mom cook for you? Italian or German?
Just Italian.
Just Italian. That's just no surprise.
And spaghetti alla vongole. So life is good as far as I'm concerned. Give me a good spaghetti with white clam sauce, and I don't need much more. Maybe some wine.
Everybody here says the same thing. We are open-minded.
Yeah.
We try to be fair to everybody. We are welcoming. We're proud of that. That will never change. Do you think that the refugees who are coming here, that they will be integrated into German society as efficiently and as gracefully as your family was?
I'm not sure, because times are so different to the 80s.
But look, Germans are organized.
Organization is just one fact. You need to control, to handle this, but...
Look, all of the people who were involved on New Year's Eve, do you think that if they get work, that if people are kind to them, if they're given housing, do you think eventually Germany will figure it out?
I'm not that optimistic, to be honest, because I'm convinced that it's not a German problem. Right. It's a world problem. It's a European problem. We're all stuck in the same boat.